guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do part 2 of our visual story outline. For the story we are so far just affectionately calling Little J's story. That's the working title since we haven't really figured out, we as in me, I haven't really figured out what to call it yet. So I think it's going to be a long one, so let's just get right into it. So in our last video we fleshed out our 4 main characters. This was our storyboard, our collage, vision board, whatever, of our 4 main characters. We have Madison, Liam, Jane, and Andy. So today we're going to go through what is generally called the exposition. So I briefly mentioned in our last video that this story was kind of outlined in the format of the story circle. So generally this is how I usually set up my stories. I usually set up my stories in this format. This is something that you guys might remember from elementary school. It's the basic story plot. So you have the exposition. Ooh, I think this thing has like a laser. Okay. So generally we have an exposition, which is basically like the lives of our characters before they hit the conflict. So the conflict is kind of like the reason for the story. Like, why are we telling the story? It's the conflict, and then the rising action, the big main climax of the story, the falling action towards the resolution and the conclusion. So that's generally how I outline my story, and that's been my process since forever and ever in some format. Maybe not directly that, but I have actually drawn out that from time to time. So I did mention in my last video that I wanted to try out Dan Harmon's story circle. I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty, and so this is his story circle, which is loosely based on Campbell's hero's journey. So it's kind of, so you see the similarities between the two. Hey, where's my laser? Oh, laser. Okay, so so you can see the similarities between the two. Oh, that's why I got rid of my laser. So today we're gonna go over, so we've gone through our characters, and then today we're kind of gonna go over these sections. So what he calls need and the go, and we'll touch upon the search aspect, but maybe not too much because that might take too much time. And then the next video will go through the find and the take. So this is essentially like what you would typically refer to as what your exposition is. And then this is what he calls crossing the threshold, this line right here. And that's what you could think of as like the conflict, because this is the reason for the story. So they're going into this other worlds, are basically like, I guess you could think of it too as like the story world. So the need is where you establish your protagonists, where we learn a lot about who they are. You're basically explaining the characters in some kind of story format. Maybe you're giving an example of their personalities or their decision makings or their character. You're building them up in that section. The go section, where we discover what these characters need, you can kind of think of this as where we establish what their conflict is. So there are some common conflicts in literature. So it could be character versus character, which is very straightforward, a protagonist versus an antagonist. It could be the character versus their society. It could be the character versus themselves, like some kind of change or development that occurs within themselves. Think of like a coming of age type of story. A character versus the supernatural, that's your sci-fi type of story. Character versus fate. So that's kind of where you establish that type of thing. And then so once you've established what they are looking for, what they're searching for, what that conflict is kind of going to be about, that's when this is what Harmon kind of calls this line right here, the threshold. So everything above this threshold, you can see it says here order, and then below that is chaos. So that's when everything kind of spins out of control, or not spins out of control, but it's kind of like this is you following the rabbit down the rabbit hole, right? And seeing where it goes. And then so that's when, this is essentially where the interesting part of this, the meat of the story, is going to be. In the last video we fleshed out who the characters were. So today we're going to go into a little bit more into their character, and also we're going to kind of discover what types of conflict are going to go along with each of these characters. Are they going to be intertwined? I don't really want to do like 4 separate stories that kind of come together. I don't really want to do that. I'd prefer that they do somehow intertwine. So hopefully we'll figure that out now. And then maybe we'll touch into a little bit of the search, which is the crossing the threshold portion of the story. And just like the first video, the overall theme of this outlining process is that we meaning I pulled tarot cards for this. So I don't know what this story is about. I pulled the cards, but I wasn't really familiar with what the cards meant. So I'm gonna kind of find that out with you guys, and I'm gonna find out what the story is, and we're gonna go from there. So let's see. Just for ease, I'm just gonna title this Exposition. And then we'll also have the conflict. Should I put it here? Maybe I'll put it. But since this is kind of a collage format, we might be going all over the place with this. And just a quick review on our characters. We have Madison, who for her main card was the Knight of Cups. She's a hopeless romantic who's willing to betray for the sake of her love, who's willing to betray for the sake of her relationship. She's a win at all costs type of person. Then we have Liam, our basketball star. He's not the main star of the basketball team, but he wants to be, and he's willing to do deceptive deeds to achieve that. But his bad deeds are kind of causing him paranoia in the sense of, like, you think of a thief who always thinks someone is stealing from him, that type of thing. Like, he's always thinking, like, maybe he's always thinking someone's doing him dirty because he's always doing other people dirty. Then we have Andy, our sad boy Andy. I love him. Already fell in love with this character. Sad boy Andy, he's feeling trapped about his financial status. Last time we came up with the idea that maybe these kids go to an affluent school. I said boarding school, but I think because that's a little bit restrictive, so maybe it's just some kind of private school. But maybe where we go with the story, it will make sense for them to be at a boarding school. Because when I think of a boarding school, I think of a more trapped environment, right? So that doesn't really play well with Andy's character, because we talked about Andy's character being kind of feeling like he's living in two worlds, where he has his wealthy friends and then he has his regular neighborhood friends, and then maybe he's feeling he's going through some feelings in regards to that. So then maybe the boarding school won't fit into that, unless we do something where they're going home during a break, which actually would give us a lot more freedom in the whatever world we create. If we have it that they were at a boarding school and then they go home, so then that opens up our world to something else. I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. Then we have our not so plain Jane. Love a curly hair girl. So we have that she is externally, she presents as having it all together, very driven and focused on her studies, but internally she's grieving because she's suffering the loss of a sibling or friend. We haven't decided if it's a sibling or friend. I had said definitely not a parent, because I am not in the mental state for that. So it's either going to be a sibling or friend. We haven't decided yet. Okay, so let's get into our exposition. So the first card I pulled for the exposition is the Three of Wands. So I have a few cards for the Three of Wands, and we'll kind of just decide which one we're going to use. This first card comes from a deck called This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rothman. I'll put a link to the deck in the description below. This third card comes from, I keep forgetting if it's Dark Mansion or Haunted Mansion, but I'll also put a link for that deck below. The middle card is just a random that I found online. So to me, these two cards are reading travel. I don't know what this card means. Okay, so the Three of Wands means exploration, leadership, moving forward, working the right way, moving with plans that are good for all concerned, doing the right thing in the right way. Hobby becomes a business. You're on the right path, investing in your future. You have reached your final destination. You are on the right road. Stay the course. Okay, so it's talking about whatever direction you're headed in is the right direction. So maybe initially, whoever this is talking about, they were initially heading in the right direction. Like, had they stayed on this path, it would have been where they needed to go. Now, which picture best conveys that? I'm gonna go with rabbit. I'm gonna go with a white rabbit. Because for me, I'm like, he's like, okay, it feels like he's waiting on the shore and he's like, okay, the ships are on time. You know, I'm on schedule. So that's what I'm getting that. So I'm getting that vibe right now. So let me write that down. I'll do yellow. So what I'll do is I'll color coordinate these stickies. So yellow will be general story, and then if a card feels like it's gonna be specific to a certain character, I'll use the same colors that I used on the characters and the first slide. So this is, so because we don't know who this is just yet, I'm just gonna put this in yellow. Whoever this is, we're gonna say, I don't know, made the right decision. They would have, had they stayed the course, they would have been on the right path, because obviously this is just the beginning of the story, so it can't be like, oh, you got everything right. It makes more sense to say you were on the right course, but then you went left, and you know what's up. So okay, so the second card we have is the Eight of Swords. Oh, this card we actually pulled for our sad boy. And then our sad boy, Andy, we actually pulled this card for him. So I know this means feeling trapped. We know from Andy that this means like feeling trapped, like you have a way of escape, but you're so distracted by feeling trapped that you just don't. I think it has some self-pity in here. I'm not sure. Let me just refresh my memory. Feeling stuck, unproductive, hopeless, wanting to break free, but doesn't. Holding yourself here through choice and duty. Feeling so deeply stuck that you've stopped looking for ways to save yourself. It's in your head, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Your mental torment may be internal or stern. I'm gonna go with Andy's, the card we originally picked for Andy. I'm gonna go blue because this was Andy's card that we picked. Okay, the next card we pulled was the Chariot. I think this is like moving. I feel like this means something like moving fast paced. Direction, willpower, determination, success, achieve goals and get what you want, keep focused. Your confidence is being tested in battle and competition with others. This card calls for determination and balance, possibly between two contradictory forces. Battle? Your confidence is being tested and competition with others. That almost feels like a Liam, but we have Andy. Maybe this is where their stories kind of connect. Maybe Andy's on the basketball team too. Maybe they're both on the basketball team. Okay, so what? So what? They're on the basketball team. Your confidence is being tested in battle and competition with others. Maybe there's a game. Against a rival school or something. Maybe it's a game like a street ball game, right? So it could be like maybe Liam came to hang out with Andy on his block, and they were playing a pickup game, and then Andy's friends from the neighborhood, who he usually plays basketball with like on his off time, of course, they're like, oh, who is this Liam kid? He thinks he's all that. And then they go to head on like just like a pickup match, and then Andy is feeling very conflicted because he's like, this is my boy Liam from school, but he also has his street friends. Maybe it's a street pickup game, a neighborhood pickup game. And wait, what was that other card? Oh my god. I forgot what that other card looked like to see which one felt the best. Yeah, no, I think this card feels best. Okay, so we have a street pickup game. So we're just setting scenes, right? We're just setting scenes right now. So this is kind of a both of them. So I'll just write for the both of them. What color was Liam? Liam. Okay, so it's hanging out with Andy in. Maybe they're initially playing. Maybe it's initially just. Andy's neighborhood friends challenged them. I don't want to say they don't like Liam. I mean, they could probably just don't like Liam. I want it to be a little bit more like they have like a bias towards him because Will it fit? Oh, it fit. Let's go. Because of his wealth. So they think he's kind of like, they think he's like a snob and like, you know, like that type of thing. Like they doubt that he can hold up against them or whatever. So that's our course. I'm like, had they stayed the course, they would have been on the right path. Does somebody get hurt? Does Liam break his leg? I don't know. I'm jumping the gun. I don't know. I'm like, what could this be? Could it be like, had they not played this pickup game, maybe Liam was on the road to a scholarship. Maybe Liam was on the road to a scholarship and then he got egged on. They got egged on to play this game, and Andy was kind of feeling like, I don't know, I don't really want to play this game, because he was feeling some type of way, like because he's already feeling this conflict of being in two worlds. But Liam, he's a little arrogant, right? Because he knows he's like one of the stars on the basketball team, so he's a little arrogant. I don't know, he gets easily persuaded into playing the game, but had he not, maybe he gets injured. But I don't know what the next card is gonna be. I only pulled 3 cards for each of these sections of Harmon's story circle, so the next card that I pulled is technically for the need section, but we're just gonna go with it to see, because if these cards don't fit neatly into like the certain sections of story, I mean, at the end of the day, the circle was a guide, and the fun of this story is that we're pulling cards to tell the story, like that we're just filling in the blanks. So if these cards don't fit neatly into the sections of the circle, we'll just move them around. We'll just play with them, because who cares, right? So the first card for the next section was the Emperor card. This is Liam and Andy's part of the story. So I think I'm gonna add that to Andy's character here. So he's also on the basketball team. So we'll add that to his character. Oh, I should also add arrogant. Okay, so the next card, what did I say? Emperor. Da-na-na-na. This card means masculine, authority, structure, leads with a firm hand, overcome any problem, approach goals with structure, strategy, and perseverance, stand up for yourself and assert leadership, think rationally through the situation. This can represent a paternal figure or any authority figure that holds power over you in life. Okay, so this is gonna be, so let's just say this is let's use the guy in the suit. That makes a little bit more sense for our story. So I'm just gonna write a general. Okay, because I don't know who that is yet. Whatever, I don't necessarily think we're in the conflict section yet, so let's just kind of scoot that guy down. Okay, the next card is the Knight of Cups, which was our Madison. We had that card for Madison. So I'll show all the cards that I got for the Knight of Cups, because I have like 3 of them. These 2 are just from random decks I found online. I don't know the names of the deck. No, I think this deck is called, oh, it was something modern. I don't remember. It was something like modern tarot, modern girl, something about being modern. I forget. But anyway, so I know this is something like hopeless romantic. That's what we found out from pulling Madison. So romantic proposals, invitations, a love interest, and yourself in the throes of full love, following your heart, courageous in love, feeling inspired. Being in love with love can represent being swept up in a romantic whirlwind while ignoring other aspects of your life, possibly too busy daydreaming to live near real life. So wait, what does this have to do with the Emperor? Because I'm trying to relate the cards to each other. So I'm like, because I'm feeling this is Madison vibe, because this is the card we pulled for Madison. So does she have a crush on an authority figure? Is that what's happening? Wait a second. Does Madison have a crush on someone? Is she feeling in love? I'm gonna go there for right now, because I'm trying to figure out how these cards are connecting. So let's see, maybe I'm wrong. Next card is Ace of Swords. The swords are supposed to represent truth, something like that, like truth, knowledge, intellect. And I believe I remember that if they're standing straight up, that means something good. Ace of Swords. Okay, so the Ace of Swords stands for clarity, sound decision making, a breakthrough, embrace a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing and describing the world and your place in it, brilliant idea, divine inspiration, creative idea. So I also, because I know that the swords stand for truth and this means sound decision making, I feel like the reverse of this, let's check the reverse. If the card doesn't initially give me some kind of good idea of where it's going, I look at it in the reverse. So the reverse of an Ace of Swords is twisted logic, a decision that goes against you, overthinking a problem, a withdrawn offer, mental confusion, lack of clarity. I don't know if it's just me, but I think that that goes with where we were just heading with Madison has a crush on an authority figure. Maybe that could be, well, we did say Jane is going through some things, because I'm trying to intersect Jane, because now that we've intersected Andy and Liam, I'm trying to put, since the next card feels very Madison, I need to throw Jane in there. So maybe, could it be the coach? Can the authority figure, because then that will tie everybody together. Can the authority figure be the basketball coach? Executive decision. He is the basketball coach. Madison has a crush on him. And Jane is like, whoa, this is a terrible idea. You have to think logically. He's a grown ass man and you are, I forget how old, 13 or 14. This is not going to work. And Madison is that's not outside of the realm of possibilities. Young girls do get crushes on older figures, especially if they have, well, now I'm going to go into the realm of generalizations, but if you've been missing an authority figure in your life, like a father figure, there is a trend that you tend to lean towards that in your romantic life. So then maybe that is happening with Madison. Maybe she doesn't have a strong, or she's lacking a paternal figure in her life. And then so, because this is a friend group, so she's always with Liam and Andy anyway. And if this is their basketball coach and he's showing authority, so then she develops a crush on him. Boom, that's what's happening. Neither of these cards is saying that to me visually, so I'll just pick this one. And because we used it in the reverse, I am gonna reverse it. It doesn't mean anything really visually, but it makes me feel better as a reminder. I'm gonna say, because Jane is going through a grieving process, she can't give 100% attention to trying to sway Madison out of this twisted logic. Right? This is basketball coach. What is his name? Can it be something with Emperor? Something Emperor-ish, just to kind of vibe off of the Emperor card. Mr. Emperor. No, that's so lame. What is in the card? Let me see. He's giving me a very like, there's a ram. Oh, this is an Ankman? Mr. Ankman. Mr. Ankman. What? Coach Ankh, if we change Ankh, I don't know. I'm feeling like it's Mr. Ankman. Mr. Ankman, we'll drop the H. Mr. Ankman. What? If you have a better name, please leave it in the comments, because I'm terrible with naming anything and everything. So, basketball coach temporarily named Mr. Ankman. What? That's so whack. I need a better name. And I'm going to add, actually like that. It's a little cliche, but I'm going to add it. So she is. So maybe that also adds to why she's such a win at all costs, because, oh, I'll add that. So then because she watched her family go through divorce, maybe it was really difficult for her to watch her mom go through that. Now she's like, no matter what, that's not happening to me. Because I get that. I'm a child of divorce. Can I underline? That would be so cool if I could underline this. No! Okay, so you can't underline, bold, or anything like that in stickies. So I guess if we just do the exposition, because I think this is getting a little long. Yeah, so let's just stick with the exposition and let's just add to this. Okay, so I guess we'll have to do the conflict in another video. I just want to add a little bit more pictures to kind of get the general idea. Basketball game. Oh, street ball, perfect. Can we get street ball? This one is a little better. I kind of want that Andy might possibly break his foot or his leg. Not Andy, Liam. Right, so we have a street ball game. Injury on the court. You have a picture for that? Like someone falling and breaking their foot? Let's see, basketball injury. I want like a falling and breaking your foot. Oh, this one. Hey, he's falling. We could kind of work with that for them. And let's do basketball coach. Now, who is our Ankman? Mr. Ankman. Is this an adult? No, it's not an adult. That's a player. Because I was going to say, oh, that one's cute. That is a child. No, he's probably not a child, but he looked too young for what I was looking for. Let's do this guy. Okay, he could be teenage girl crushable. I could see that. Ooh, let me see this guy. Okay, Mr. Ankman. I'm vibing you for Mr. Ankman. Okay, Mr. Ankman. Hey. Teenage friends. I have an image in my head of like two schoolgirl friends. Or I want to do like teenage girls gossiping. Let's see what images you have for young love. Or it's an inappropriate one-way love. Because I don't think we don't know yet, but I don't believe Mr. Ankman would. Well, we don't know him. We technically don't know Mr. Ankman. So Mr. Ankman could be 100% creep. I don't know, but look at this face. No, I'm just joking. Let's see, love crush. Whatever, we'll pick you. Friend group. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, one too many. That shadow picture would have been perfect. Maybe one of those friends is the one that Jane is grieving. No, I don't know. Okay, this is enough pictures, I think. What's... Do I just do computer with scholarship? Is that too basic? What does this picture mean? I wonder. It means scholarship. All right, let's go for it. Whatever. Okay, so we have... Ooh, we got a lot of things happening. Okay. Uh-oh, I lost one. Okay, here we go. This needs to be in the front. Okay, I got a little messy. Am I missing anything underneath here? No, okay. But I need to see the word scholarship. We literally just picked that picture for the word scholarship. No, okay, so we have Coach Ankman. Please, if you have a better name, because I'm the worst. Addison has a crush on Mr. Ankman. Like, girl, why? And then, oh, this is supposed to be the scholarship. This is also the scholarship. Send backwards. Oh, it could also represent that they go to school together. Am I missing one? Oh, this should have been orange. I'm like, where's Jane's? You guys are probably like, that one is orange. Madison has a crush on Liam and Andy's coach. Jane doesn't agree. Let's make this bigger. Okay. So that's our exposition. So this is the beginning of the story. This is where we find our characters. Andy and Liam are on the basketball team, coached by tentatively Mr. Ankman. I don't know. Maybe Liam had a scholarship coming to him and he got egged on to participate in the game because he's kind of arrogant. and he has an injury that could put his scholarship in jeopardy. Andy is feeling trapped between these two worlds, and Madison has a crush on Mr. Aikman, and Jane doesn't agree with that, but she also is she's going through her own issues right now, that she's dealing with the loss of maybe one of their, no, because if it's a friend, then it's like, why is not everyone grieving them? Maybe it has to be a little bit more connected to Jane, so then maybe it is a sibling. Yeah, because if it's a friend that was a part of their friend group, that makes more sense, right? Because if it was a friend, why is just Jane grieving? That doesn't make any sense. Like, are all your friends trash? Blah, 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 going to grieve. Okay, let's go back, and it's official. She lost a sibling. So that's our exposition. That's our story where it stands so far. That's just the exposition. That's the beginning of the story. That's where we're finding out where all our characters are. So the first video, we found out who our characters were, and now we just found out where they are in our story world. The next video I'll do is where we kind of get more into the conflict of what really sets off the chain of events of the story, like the whole reason behind telling the story in the first place. So that was a lot of fun. That was interesting. If you found it interesting too, give this video a like. And thanks for sticking around. Bye.